This is a look at 8th grade English language arts virtual English expectations. So even if you have completed lesson 1, I am asking that all of my 8th grade students go back and at least watch and look at this lesson. So you're going to be like, oh, okay, I get it. Great, Ms. Holmes. Either A, we're tracking, I get you, I've done all of these things, or hey, so happy you made this video and all is well. Okay, so first things first, I know I talked about this in my Google Meet the other day, but I'm going to say it again because I think it's that important, is this. All right, so due dates. And again, I know my screen's probably going to look a tad bit different than yours, but that's okay. It means the same thing. All right, so I know we're all kind of coming into virtual maybe at a different place, or, maybe some of you are just getting into virtual. Some of us have been here from the beginning since the school year. I get it. But we have some of us that are, this is due on, this was assigned on the 5th, which was the first day of school. Okay, so this is how I look at pacing. Pacing means from the time it was assigned until when it is due. Okay, and then how long do you have before I'm going to be putting a 0 in there? Okay, this is important. All right, so our first, this is Unit 1, assignment number 1, lesson 1, Dear Diary, Writing for Yourself. All right, so this is, it was assigned on August the 5th. All right, you have until your next assignment, which is called Memoirs, and it is assigned on August the 10th. Okay, so you have through the 9th to do this work. Okay, now, again, the first assignment was a little different, right? Because we said, hey, we were all just kind of getting in. All right. So by now, my expectation would be if you've been in virtual, you should have already gotten started. You should have completed this. But if not, let's get on it. Okay. All right. So again, looking forward. Now, memoirs. Okay. I'm expecting it to be done by, hey, guess what? Today's the 12th. Okay. So if not, guess what? You've got work to do. Okay. So sometimes you're going to have 4 days to complete one. Some days you're going to have 2 or 3 days. You're going to have that benefit of having my calendar to look ahead. So, I've tried to give you those assignments like a heads up. Hey guys, some days you'll have two days to do an assignment. Some days you'll have them, but you have the due dates in front of you. So it's not like you're stressing out to do them. You can do all your work in 1 week and have it done on Monday if it's due on Friday. Okay, so that's the beauty of being virtual. All righty. So let's look at a tutorial, and then here's my expectations for you. And I hope that things from there are going to be so crystal clear for you, the expectations. All right. So, Dear Diary, Writing for Yourself tutorial. Yeah, that's what they all do is when you open them up, this introduction video starts. Okay, so I paused it and excuse me. So you'll have these dots and dashes of the table of contents. Okay, so let's open that up. You have an introduction, looking closely at diaries, features of a diary entry, structure of a diary entry, focus on language, pre-reading, reading selections, lesson activity, analyze and compare diary entries, writing a diary, another lesson activity, making a new diary entry, and summary. All right, so that's just kind of everything you can expect through all of these. This particular lesson has 43 slides. All right, this resources folder is my favorite one. It has everything in it that would be like a literature selection. So these are going to be these little pop-outs that you're going to find as you go throughout these. They're not just there for your, beautifying the page. They're actually there, so you should read them, okay? This one has Samantha's diary entry, Dorothy Wordsworth diary entries, Samuel Pepys diary entries, and guided notes, Dear Diary, Writing for Yourself. So that's always going to say guided notes and then whatever the lesson that you're studying. Okay, so we are going to click on this one. All right, and then we're going to kind of toggle this and bring it down and make it its own little window. All right, so again, That was just a matter of me kind of, toggling that and making its own thing. And then I'm going to shrink it to its own size so I can make it, off to the side. And then it'll kind of disappear here in a minute, but it'll just be in the background of what I'm working on. All right, so guided notes. All these do is they step us through our lesson. They're just going to be prompts, questions. And so you can handwrite these. If you'll remember on your agenda, your calendar that I gave you guys, there's a little link on there. There's a video that shows you how to download them. You can print them, you can handwrite them, you can type in them like I'm going to show you here in a few minutes. So these things are the magic of your tutorials and your lessons, okay? So I call these the lifeblood, okay? These will be your friends because you can use them on your mastery test. You can use these on your post test. And then guess what? When you get them all together, you can use them on your semester exam, okay? So let's do the guided notes. I want all of my students doing these, okay? All right, so you also have this dictionary over here that you can look up things. You have the reading tools. All right, so this slide narration tool over here, you toggle it on and it says when on, slides the will like up here on the side over here, the contain narration will automatically play. And I'm going to show you how that works in just a minute. So I'm going to toggle it off for the sake of this particular tutorial I'm doing with you. Click to speak. So when you click that on, you can click on sentences and like hear them reading aloud, like as you go through the content. And you can even do like a male or female voice. So that's fancy. All right. And then two, if you're dual, you like bilingual, and you speak multiple languages, so you could use that and translate. So also we have this highlighter tool. This is kind of an older tool, so I don't use it anymore. It doesn't work the way that it used to work. All right. So let's just kind of jump in and I want to show you something. We're going to let this kind of roll through and then we'll get busy. Okay, so that's just an introduction, and that's at the beginning of all of them. All right, so if you wanted to read to you, I told you had that in slide narration. So if you had that slide narration turned on, this would have automatically read that to you. So I have it turned off, and so I can click to have it read.
Dear Diary, writing for yourself.
All right. And it's just going to go through. All right, so the objective of this particular lesson is you will review examples of famous diaries and practice keeping your own diary.
In this lesson, you will review examples of famous diaries and practice keeping your own diary.
Okay, and so then it's going to give you your tutorial contents, which is what I just read to you from over here. All right, so warm up. Type your response in the box. What types of people do you believe keep a diary or journal? Why do you think people write in a diary? Okay, so this is essentially the bell ringer that we would have in class. Okay, so just to kind of like take what you would be doing in if you were attending face-to-face school to bring it to what you're doing in virtual. Okay, so we have this. All right, so what I do is I would just copy this, take my mouse, drag it over it, and you can right-click, copy, and then click down in here and paste it, or you can control copy, control V for, so control C would copy, control V would paste. And so I often just kind of come down here and separate it. So like, what am I really looking at here? This always helps me to do this. What types of people do you believe keep a diary or journal? There's a famous, the Diary of Anne Frank or Frank. This was a young woman who lived through the Holocaust. Okay. And her words have come to inspire people all over the world, or you could just say, my big sister, or, you may keep a diary, or if we think of a journal, and we are Star Trek fans, you could look up and you say, well, Captain Kirk kept a journal. Okay. So those are things, write them down. My expectation is for you to write something and to use proper grammar. Okay. No text talk, no what up cuz, nothing like that. Please just use proper grammar. We're in school. All right, practice it. Now, this is the magic right here. This is what I love. These are the sample answers, okay? So, Ed Minham is a genius. Okay, they're going to put this in here. They're going to say, hey, our students are going to try and, just like, oh, let's just answer it and move on. Okay, but here's what they did. In these sample answers, and specifically when we get into the questions that have like the literature portions, and when we're getting into these sections over here, when I was telling you, like for instance, Dorothy Wordsworth. Okay, so when you get into those parts that have these questions here, a lot of times students just kind of want to dismiss that part and move through. Well, guess what? When you look at these sample answers that they gave, you're going to find that when you get to your mastery test, that a lot of the questions came from what they put for these sample answers. And then another thing, okay, and this to me is just remember, you are a self-paced learner. This video that I'm doing, I'm not going to do this for the lessons, right? I'm going to do this for ones that like occasionally, but I'm not going to be doing this. Okay, so you are literally teaching yourself this content because it's so rich and it's right there in front of you. So this is how Ed Minham did it. Okay. So they're telling you, you're teaching yourself, you're gleaning from these answers. And so this is how you do it. And so this is why I'm showing you this right here up front in August, so that as you pace yourself, you're going to be like, oh, okay, I get it. And then you're going to go take these mastery tests and you're going to say, checkbox, Miss Holmes told me, I saw it. Okay. And then you're going to be able to go back and go, you know what? Yes, you're right. Because this is almost like it communicating it back to you. All right. Let's move forward. All right. So, one of the things that anytime you have a video, okay, and not like that first one, like, where it was like Shakespeare's mouth and it was eaten on upon a pia. I'm talking like a video. Okay. You're going to have this ability of these three little dots over here. And I want you to go turn on the closed captions. Okay. This is one of the best tools that anything a virtual learner can do, I want you to do. Okay. You have the ability to basically like that movie with called Click, where Adam Sandler has that little remote control and like people are talking in like real life and he can push pause, right? Well, we don't have that ability, right? So like when we're in the regular classroom live and our teachers are talking and there's like a word that they say and we're like, oh, I don't know how to spell that, or oh, what did they just say, or like somebody bumped into a table over here, or somebody was sharpening a pencil and we just didn't hear it. And we're like, oh, what was that? Okay. So with virtual learner, everything's right there. So you have the ability to, take your toggle with the button, go back and forth, see how things are spelled. All right. So that is why I recommend closed caption. Okay. Now, I'm a hearing impaired person. Okay. So for me, closed captions like saves my life on so many things. Okay. Because I'll think I hear one thing and it is totally not what is something else. Okay. And closed captions really helps. So I'm looking at this going, hey, for my students, this is awesome. Okay. So let's watch this video and we'll keep moving.
Dear Diary, this is the first time I've done this, and I feel a bit awkward talking to a book. Okay, that sounds like a start, but what should I write next? I decided to start a diary because a friend of mine said that it would help me to express my thoughts. You see, as someone who's into computers and coding, I'm very focused and logical. And although I think it's easy to write or enhance software applications, sometimes I find it very difficult to clearly express my emotions and feelings. Though I'm not so sure how writing a diary is going to help me express my thoughts better. And even if it did, I don't know how to write a proper diary. Where should I begin? And what should I include? Should I write about everyday activities or just the most memorable incidents? Are there any guidelines that I should follow? And most importantly, do I really have to do this with a pen on paper? There has to be an app for this, right? I should do some research first to understand how people use diaries. Maybe then I'll know how writing in a diary can really help me.
All right. So say there was a word right in here, and you was like, oh, I needed to know how to spell that. Well, right there it is. Okay. So please use closed captions in every video that you can. All right. So let's move forward here. Looking closely at diaries. All right. So I told you, you could have it read to you.
Looking closely at diaries. A lot of people feel the urge to express their feelings or experiences in writing. Often they record their day-to-day experiences in diaries or journals. Defining diaries. Diaries help to keep track of the events in a person's life. They contain a person's private thoughts, reflections, inspirations, or fears. For that reason, many people don't share their diaries with others. Journals are similar to diaries. However, some journals can have specific purposes. For example, a ship's captain may keep a journal to record the ship's progress on a particular voyage.
All right. So let's look at this. I'm going to pull up my guided notes here, and I'm going to kind of scooch it over on this side, I think, a little bit because the text is over there. All right. So this is what I love about guided notes. All right, it says a lot of people feel the urge to express their blank or blank, okay, in writing. All right, so right here, look, a lot of people feel the urge to express their feelings or experiences in writing, okay? So we're just going to pull that up. And so let me get this one gone because it was from other class. And it's right here. Okay, express their, that's right, feelings or experiences in writing, okay, or record their day-to-day experiences in, it's right there, diaries or journals. You see that it's just right there, okay? And so these are going to be the things that you're going to need to make sure that you are pulling from the content and it's on purpose, okay? So it's purposeful information. All right, so look, it says defining diaries. Well, look here, defining diaries. All right, so diaries have these characteristics, okay? And then these little check marks, it's like, pay attention to me. All right, help to keep track of the blank in a person's life. Okay, well, events in a person's life. Okay, contain a person's private thoughts, reflections, inspirations, or fears. So, thoughts, inspirations, reflections. I might have got those backwards. That's okay. All right. Aren't often shared with others. Okay. So journals are similar to diaries. However, some journals can have specific purposes. So the information's right there for you. It's not just sometimes always going to come right out at you, but at the same time, it is going to be there for you so that you're getting the best information possible. Okay. So let's move forward just a tad. All right. So types of diaries, handwritten diaries, diaries on a computer. Okay. So look here again. All right. So it's going to break it down in a way to where if you were taking your own handwritten notes, which so many of you are going to say, Ms. Holmes, I'd rather take handwritten notes. Okay. Okay. But pay attention to your guided reading notes so that you know you're getting what you need versus just writing these notes that maybe you really don't need. Okay. Because remember, when we write notes, we pay attention to the bold. We're pulling the main idea. We're pulling that essential content that we need. That are backing up those main ideas. Okay. So I got you started. Okay. Make sure you read all the pop outs that are in here. Okay. Make sure you respond to all of those questions that are embedded. When you get to the end of this 43rd slide, click save and exit. make sure you have your good notes, attempt that mastery test, keep on pacing with your dates, and your code word is going to be orange. And so I look forward to hearing from you guys. You're going to send me a message on your Edmentum mail, and I really hope that this has helped you. And I expect all of my students to watch this, at least this first big one. And I look forward to a great year with you guys. Thanks.